And today I'm joined by Executive Chef Steve Kurtz. He's going to show us a sweet treat just in time for the Super Bowl. We're also joined by Steve Wilkie, editor of our magazine. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. You know, when we think about the Super Bowl, we often think about the savory, right? We think about pizza, we think about wings, but it's a good time for dessert too.
Yes, for sure.
So what are you making for us today?
Today we're going to do some pretzels. What we're doing here is I have some baking soda. I just put in some boiling water. We're going to drop these pretzel dough balls. That is just flour, sugar, salt, water, and a little bit of butter. And they go in and they're going to blanch for about 2 minutes, get a little bigger, and then I'm going to pull them out real quick. And we're also going to make some beer mustard to go with that.
All right.
So what we have is a bunch of mustard and brown sugar,
Yeah, that's
some eggs, salt.
And so while Chris is doing that, tell me a little bit about, you know, there are lots of dessert places around. Why did you guys choose to focus in on Browndog?
Well, we've known about them as a creamery, but then all of a sudden we started hearing that they got the Farmington location and got an alcohol license and started doing beer floats, and we were like, oh, okay, that sounds great.
Right, and speaking of beer, what did you just put in there, Chris?
Beer. We put a bunch of beer into the mustard to make a beer mustard. And what's going to happen here is the eggs are going to start to thicken this up. And as the eggs start to thicken this up, it will start to become mustard.
So does the alcohol cook off?
Yes, the alcohol cooks off a little bit, but you will be left with an amazing amount of flavor. You want to use a dark beer for this, and it will...
So when you cook it off, you know, even kids can have this, even though you're pouring beer in.
Yep, the alcohol cooks off from the stuff here. So.
And then, so they've expanded since now they are actually changing their Northville location to add full restaurant too.
Right,
so they've just been doing all sorts of great stuff, and we try to keep track of the food scene, of course, in every issue of our. And so they caught our attention, and you know, they're doing great stuff, and the beer float is interesting.
And speaking of said beer float, I see beer and I see ice cream.
So this is from New Holland. This is a coconut dragon's milk. This is a reserve beer, and then we made an ice cream out of it. This is a Almond Joys ice cream, salted caramel, and
What'd you call that? Dragon's
milk.
Dragon's milk.
It's a bourbon barrel aged stout there. So we add the ice cream to it and the float, and it is awesome.
I had to go twice because I wasn't sure about the
Oh, yeah.
So I had to take another sip just to make sure it was good. So these are all things that are actually fairly simple to make. I mean,
Yes,
you can
for sure.
And so now you have the
So the pretzels come out of here, and then we're going to let them dry for a little bit, and then they would go into the oven and cook for about 12 minutes. You put a little egg wash on them, and once they get finished, they will come out, and they will look like this with a little bit of salt on top and a little mustard.
Those are beautiful, and as you mentioned, something that folks can do and sort of, you know, also personalize for their Super Bowl.
For their Super Bowl, yeah. You can make a whole bunch of these from the recipe that we put up on the website. It'll make about 3 dozen. So that's enough for a nice big party.
So where are you guys in Farmington?
Farmington, we are downtown, right on Grand River. We are going to be opening up a brand new location in downtown Northville, also on Main Street there, right next to the old Browndog. We have moved spots a little bit to become a more alcoholic with beverages.
A more adult,
adult scene that Farmington is